Greetings, creeps! BENTHELOONEY here. As a kid, one of my favorite things to do around Halloween time was read about scary urban legends. These are some of my favorite stories that I remember from when I was a kid, so I'll be more than happy to share them with you folks today. 'Tis the Halloween season. Find a seat around the fire as I tell you the legends of yesteryear. Want to know why jack-o'-lanterns are called such? Well, an old Irish legend tells of a man named Stingy Jack, who everybody in the town hated because of how much of a manipulative jerk he was. Word of him spread so fast that the devil himself was a fan and decided to find him one night. Turns out, the devil had come to take poor Jack's soul to hell. Jack wasn't going to go quietly as he used his wits to come up with a plan. He requested to drink some ale as his final wish. So Satan led Jack into the local pub and supplied him with all the drinks he requested. Unable to pay, Jack suggested that Satan transform into a silver coin. After Satan did so, Jack placed Satan into his pocket, where there was a crucifix, causing Satan to cry in pain. Jack said he would free him if he spared Jack's soul for 10 years. Satan had no choice but to agree. 10 years went by and Satan said,
"Okay, now it's time for you to burn forever."
Jack then told the devil that he was hungry and requested a last meal. An apple from a tree. Not learning his lesson from the first time, Satan climbed up the tree, giving Jack plenty of time to surround it with crucifixes. Satan was not a happy climber. Jack said he shall let him down if he promised never to take Jack's soul. Satan reluctantly agreed. Eventually, Jack's rockstar lifestyle led to his death of alcohol poisoning later in his life. Jack was ready to stroll into heaven, until God was like, son, you's a bad mofo. To hell you go." Jack tried to go to hell, but there to greet him was Satan, who said,
"Well, I'd love to let you in, but a certain somebody made me promise not to. So, you're going to have to walk the earth for the rest of your afterlife. And because I don't want any punks tricking me like you did, take this fire as a way to warn people."
So the ancient Irish made candles out of turnips to serve as Jack's soul, which eventually evolved into pumpkins and the jack-o'-lanterns of today. That's one classic tale that still holds relevance even in this century. Well, from one generation to another, let's take a look at a more modern legend, the Babysitter. So the story goes, a teenage girl babysat two little ones while the parents were away at a dinner party. The babysitter was up late watching TV when she heard the phone ringing. Wondering why someone would be calling so late, she answers it to hear some heavy breathing and a man saying, "I'm coming to get you." Dismissing it as a prank, she ignored it and hung up. Minutes later, the phone rang again. She answers it, only to hear the same voice saying, "I'm getting closer." Getting a little uneasy, the girl called the police, and they told her to keep the man on the line as long as possible the next time he called, so that they could trace it. A few minutes later, the man called again, saying, "I'm here. It's only a matter of time." After hanging up, the police called the house with startling news. The man was calling from inside. It wasn't long before the police arrived at the house to find the babysitter holding a bloody axe over the bodies of the dead children and saying in a deep and manly voice, "She should have checked on the children." This classic tale has several variations, and I just read my favorite. I like the idea of the babysitter having multiple personalities and being the killer herself. It's a great way to add an interesting twist on a tale as old as time. Here's another one that I loved. That actually made me cry the first time I read it. I'd like to give a specific warning, but I don't want to spoil the ending. So if you're weak of stomach, you might want to sit this one out and skip to this point for the next story. Those of you that continue to watch, well, I warned you. An old woman lived in the house all by herself with her dog as her only companion. One night, the woman went to bed with the dog laying next to her, and the dog licked her face goodnight. In the middle of the night, the woman woke up to hear a dripping sound. Drip, drip, drip. She got up and walked to the kitchen to shut off the spout. She crawled back into bed and was again licked in the face by her dog. An hour later, she woke up again to the dripping sound. Drip, drip, drip. The woman got up again, walked into the kitchen, and shut off the spout. The woman crawled back into bed and was again licked by her dog. Finally, the morning came, and she woke up to go to the bathroom. Only to find her dog hanging from the shower, and the dog's blood dripping to the floor. Drip, drip, drip. Yeah, whenever animals get hurt or killed in stories, it really tugs at my heartstrings. Gets me unnerved. But that's what Halloween's about, telling stories to scare the crap out of people. But let's move back into stories about people getting killed, shall we? Who cares about people anyway? So a young couple were leaving a party and they decided to go driving around some country roads to have some quiet time together. However, the boy runs over a log which damages the car, and he has to go walking into town to find some assistance. He tells his girlfriend to lock the doors and not leave the car, and then he walked away, with the girl noticing that he had the keys in his pocket. After he was gone for over an hour, the girl turns on the radio to hear of a lunatic escaped from the mental asylum running around the area, and he is dangerous. The girl was uneasy, but she managed to fall asleep. However, she was awoken by a tapping sound on her window. She woke up to see a dirty-looking man with scars all over his face and an evil grin. She was frightened, but she felt comfort in knowing that her boyfriend would soon be there to save her. That was until the man held up the severed head of her boyfriend. The girl began to cry and scream at the sight, but she knew that the man couldn't get her in the car. She was safe. That was until the man held up his other hand, holding the keys to the car. Nothing scarier than going for a peaceful drive with your main squeeze. Then boom, you're stranded in the middle of a country road at the mercy of a psycho. That's why I never leave home without my AAA card. Alright kiddies, I think that'll be all for now. Thank you so much for joining me in these tellings of chilling legends. What are your favorite scary urban legends? Let me know in the comments below. Until next week, sweet dreams, ghouls!